And we are back for another episode of Museum in Lotus. We were just popping the champagne, yeah. Back with Mr. Giuseppe De Giosa to discover the many different valuable antiques not for sale in the Lotus Gallery. That will be a great perspective for you to enter into Martin's world of art. So we have Mr. Pino with us for the 20 over episodes. He has been explained to us the wonderful details of all this collection. You know, we are changing setting back again to this wonderful place. Yes. This favorite sofa. No one likes this. No one likes their house sofa anymore because once they've seen this, they tried this, they've fallen in love with this sofa here. This 19th century Louis Philippe style, made in Italy, mahogany sofa.
Mahogany. Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
Yeah. In fact, after this tonight's episode, we have. Please remember to not take out your tuxedo, change out your tuxedos too fast.
All right.
Remember, because you have a special appointment at about 8:30.
I will not forget.
Yeah.
It will only be a pleasure.
I was sent a message. I received a message today to have me remind you that you have an appointment with one of your fans that she would like to take a photos with you on this very sofa itself. I mean the backing. I mean, I look at the screen, I'm sure you're looking at the same thing as well. The backdrop just looks amazing, stunning. The color is just so brilliant. Am I right?
I think it's just perfect, the combination of modern art. What we see actually here, it's a magnificent work of art by Master Yun. And the way the two things blend together, different periods, it doesn't matter. When there's the spirit of beauty and when there's perfect balance between two items, they would reflect it in many, many ways. And I will not say any more words. Just come, take a look, imbue yourself of beauty, and take a look what's around. There's so many precious things, not only to look, but if possible also to acquire. Why not?
To look and if possible to own.
And to acquire.
And to acquire. But first, cheers with this laurent-perrier. You're back with laurent-perrier champagne, La Cuvée here. And with laurent-perrier glasses, of course, which we know is part of our lucky draw prizes, a set of 6 that we are giving out. Some clients, I've been hearing comments that why was I not chosen? I mean, I don't know. It's the hand of God. It's the will. It's the fate. I don't know. But I know how you could increase your possibility of getting yourself chosen or getting your loved ones chosen, and that is have you and your loved ones watch this episode right now and follow us every Tuesday 7:30. as we go along this museum in Lotus journey. And the more time you answer the correct question, and you increase the probability of yourself getting the prize. Am I right? You used to be a banker. Am I speaking correctly?
I think you are speaking correctly. It's a matter of taking a look and appreciating what's been done. And then you will know exactly at the end of this episode what is the question asked, and you will be able to reply. It won't take too much.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, we haven't been asking too difficult questions. I could have asked people to spell Louis Philippe. I didn't, yeah.
You have to go to Google to help yourself. Yes, you have to do that.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, remember we had the bookshelf
yes.
that is very, very nicely storing all your heart sutras. These ones, we are placing it over at the main gallery, and you're storing all these heart sutras, right? I didn't ask you to spell the name of the manufacturer, which I couldn't. Globe something,
okay.
I forgot, yeah.
Globe Venice.
Yeah, Globe Venice. Yeah, I didn't ask you to spell that thing. So yeah, come on. Yeah.
Venice.
Speaking of which, this precious Heart Sutra, your Heart Sutras now, if they are in the gallery and they are now actually, we added different elements to it. We talked about the Pali Canon. You saw my post today, right? I saw you liking the post.
I saw your post.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a fantastic idea.
Right.
Also because of the fragrant palm leaves, which again transfer a beautiful smell to your album. And at the same time, you did place beautiful, I remember the specific piece, which is Tibetan sacred manuscript covers.
Right, they're on the tier 2, yes.
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 And again, it's for protection, the second one.
Absolutely.
So be sure that your album is protected,
right.
And at the same time, it will imbue itself by the smell of the palm leaf with extremely detailed Pali work of the Pali Canon.
Yes.
So beautiful.
So if your heart album has 4 seals, this album you're talking about will be placed on the first tier, the first layer of the drawer, or in the American bookcase. Vernicle?
Globe Venice.
Globe Venicle, yeah, that American bookcase. And on top of it, we are placing the Pali Canon over there. I've shown it in my post. We will share it again. On the second tier, if you have 1 to 3 seals, we are placing the Tibetan manuscript cover onto it.
Yes.
And speaking of Tibetan manuscript cover, today, as I've shared my post, if you haven't shared, please go and share, that we are going back to Tibet, because there's actually really a lot of treasures in Tibet that we have not gone through yet.
Yes.
Some of them have been around in the gallery for a while. People have been walking by them. They did not know. So we have moved them out once more time to show you the amazing treasures that Master owns that are from Tibet. Am I right?
They're very special, the pieces, and tonight we'll go through 3 sets of items.
All right.
And very interesting. And we'll touch about each one of them. And I hope to share with you a little bit of the history.
Right.
And I hope to share with you the meaning and the symbolism behind certain particular paintings or artwork that I see on the pieces.
Right. Which is the first piece you might want to start with?
Okay, we have here in front of us, and we might want to start with this one.
Possible. We can start with the one that is like what we call the biggest thing right in front of us. Ken, we are going to start with this one, but before that, let's select the lucky winners from last week.
Oh yes, by all means.
So once again, all your names are in this. To get your names here, very simple. At the end of tonight's session, we are going to ask question, not too difficult ones, so pay attention nonetheless. And you get the correct answer in the comments, and then you will be having a chance to win this set of 6 laurent-perrier champagne glasses that we have, the ones we are using. Not just 1, not just 2, but a set of 6 of them, all right, the ones that we are using. So, would you like to do the first honors?
I would love to.
Yep. The first one would be
Daryl Chu.
Daryl Chiu. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes. All right, first winner, Daryl Chiu. And the second one, all be chosen by Mr. Pino's lucky hands. The second one would be, let's see.
Noi Li.
Yes, so last name, so it's Li Noi.
Li Noi.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
And the third one, we have many friends who are here, NC, Eileen, Andy, Liano is here also. Laura is here, Tong Chi Hong, yes, Geraldine is with us. Thank you for watching. Remember to share this, click on the share button and share this video with your friends.
Pino de Giosa.
It's Po Wei Wei.
I tried my luck.
Yeah.
I did not succeed.
Po Wei Wei.
Wei Wei To.
Wei Wei To, Darren Chiu, Lianoi, congratulations to all these 3 friends. You'll be registering you in and you'll get to win a set of these 6. All right? Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start with the biggest one. We're going to ask the question at the end of the session. A plus, probably. Better get yourself ready. Pick your ears and know what Mr. Pino is talking about. Let's talk about this big chest.
This is a big chest. It's a monastery chest.
Right.
Because the monastery items were also always very important in Tibet. And I will share with you the significance, as I mentioned earlier. Monastery chest dates the end of the 18th century, maybe the beginning of the 19th century. I would believe more about the end of 18th century. So we're talking about over
1700s.
Correct.
1700, that means about 300 over years old.
Say 1780, 1790,
Yep.
and we're talking about close to 300 years by all
30
means.
years, yeah.
Now, what is so special about this particular chest? We actually look at the front of the chest.
All right.
And when we look at the front of the chest, we see a very large cartouche, beautifully designed. Inside the cartouche, if you look closely, they're 2 opposing dragons. I would like to stop 1 second and just share with you what the dragons mean. The dragons mean not only authority for the kings and for the emperor, but the dragons also is a protector. A protector of what? A protector of Buddhism. I was just going through the literature, and there's a big difference between the Western represented dragons and the dragon represented in the East. In the East, they have a positive configuration, and as in this case, protection. Instead, in the West, they have a totally opposite perception. Usually flames come out from their mouth. And if you recall in the Russian icons of Michael the Archangel, is actually
slaying.
Yes, he's slaying a dragon, something that we don't see here.
In the Western world, if I might summarize, the Western world, the dragons, they are considered demons. And to slay them would prove your heroic status, prove that you're a hero. In Chinese, of course, we know in Asian societies, dragon is something else on a different level. It represents royalty. In fact, in China, it represents kings, and queens, people of royal blood. But you mentioned there are 2 dragons over here.
There are 2 opposing dragons. And the interesting part of the dragons, and I will just tell you later what it means, look at the color of the skin of the dragon. And there is another element in this particular cartouche which has a similar color. But let me tell you about the dragons are in the sky. But what is around the dragons, basically flower and their foliage, and you have fruits. When you see this, you look at the base, and you will actually see a wonderful, beautiful peony which is emerging. And on top of the peony, this wonderful vessel. Can you see the vessel?
I see.
And from the center of the vessel, the center of the vessel, you actually see again foliages, on top of which we see a flaming pearl. We will touch about the flaming pearl in a moment. But if you actually look very carefully, on both sides of the vessel, so flanking the vegetation and flanking the flaming pearl, it's almost very difficult to see. There are two deer.
The two deers.
But what do the deer mean? The deer allow us to go back to when the Buddha basically, during his first sermon in the Kernet Park.
I have to take a closer look, excuse me. Yeah.
It's very difficult. Let
Really?
me tell you, it's very, very difficult.
Well, I like treasure hunt. Okay, I see the dragon for sure.
Correct.
And if you have to touch it yourself, because there is a 3D effect to it.
3D effect.
Emboss, what do you call that? Yeah.
And this, I will also mention about the technique
Right,
through
right.
which the Tibetan managed to get this.
So, okay, we have one dragon, two dragons, and then a vessel, and then a firming pole. Actually, you know, the idea is pretty much like our ring, the double dragon, and there's a pole in between. You see all the foliage, you see all the plants, and you are talking about the deer. Let me hunt a little bit. Wait. Yeah.
They're basically flanking the flaming pearl. So
Oh my goodness, I see it.
You see the two deer?
I see, okay. I see there, the deers are here. Right. One deer, two deer. So two dragons, two deers, okay?
Yes.
Lua, yeah, deers, and then the pole in
And
between.
then the flaming pearl. And because the flaming pearl does not appear round, and I could actually not understand it, that I had to look very carefully. And then the two deer came very, very clear. So let's remember the Sanat Park and the Buddha giving his first sermon.
Right. It definitely has a great connection to Buddhism then.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, when you look at the claws of the two dragons, there's one particular claw on each one that holds a pearl.
Okay.
We have to go into the meaning of the pearl. The pearl means spiritual energy.
Okay.
It means prosperity. What?
I see the pole.
And it also means power. And again, it means wisdom.
Right.
And let's not forget that one of the characteristics about the dragons, they never ended wanting to learn, and therefore they were insatiable about wisdom.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I have to go in detail before I can see a lot of the details that Mr. Pino is describing. Two dragons, heavenly dragons, two deers, and two dragons each holding a pearl, and with two dragons looking at one pearl. Oh, so many pearls going on. So it's actually very much like what our double dragon ring is about. Two dragons, one pearl. I don't know why the connection came about, but it came about.
It's always very interesting when I share with you the significance of the pieces that Master Yun has chosen. But they're not in isolation. I think it's a continuous.
Right.
And everything seems to be leading in almost, I would say, the same direction. So the representation of the face of this late 18th century monastery softwood Tibetan chest is related to some of the things that he has actually designed and getting expert jeweler to make.
Absolutely. I mean, okay, so we know that there was an episode that we did with all the wonderful sculptures from different regions of the world. All of them, most of them, were used to be gilded in gold, right?
Yes.
We saw that many episodes.
Yes.
We saw the luxury of this Louis Philippe so far. Oh, so much love for this so far. And we always find different connections with Master Yun's collections, the ones that you buy, and Master Yun's art as well. And today, even in this Tibetan chest that we just took out, I mean, I knew that there were two dragons. I didn't know that they were looking at a pearl. The two, what do you call that? The two deers and pearls as well, which resonates with Master Yun's one of the signature items of our gallery, the ring, the Lotus on Water Heaven and Earth Jadeite ring. One of the edition is the double dragon. I think about the point is that there are a lot of universal truths somehow maybe these truths were speaking to different people at different periods of time, giving them the inspiration. Sometimes they took the inspiration and then they became a beautiful chest like this. In some periods, then they took the inspiration and they became a beautiful ring like this. They all represent probably, not too sure, but probably the same source, the same idea and the same inspiration that connects beyond cultures and time. So this is something that's definitely very connected with Lotus on Water here.
Again, I think the minimum denominator, if I'm allowed, is to say, why is this connection? It's because about beauty.
Right, yes.
I mean, a beautiful eye can capture the significance and the meaning of the objects and then interconnect them.
Right.
So what we said, this is a Louis Philippe,
yes.
Italian, goes back to the late 18th, early 19th century. And then we have this beautiful, wonderful, I would say, art piece. And again, the connection of the two is also a connection between a modern piece, which is the ring that you've just shown me,
yes.
with the pearl in the middle,
yeah.
and the two opposed dragons.
Absolutely, yeah.
And again, it's a never-ending chain and connection that I have basically been able to witness so far.
So blessed are those who actually own Master Yun's art. Blessed are also those who actually have Master Yun's double dragon ring then. Right, what else about this huge chest we must know?
There's one more item. Okay, sorry, before I jump, there's so much to be said about the front of this wonderful chest.
Right.
Now, if we just take a look outside the cartouche,
okay, outside,
what we see, it's a geometrical design.
This size.
This design here, this is geometrical.
Right, yes.
And if we look carefully at the 14th, 15th century textile from the Ming period in China, silk textile, the Tibetan did not have the silk textiles because the worm were very difficult to collect and basically to have silk. So they were inspired. And if you look, all of these sections meet together, and Savary impressed, there are basically square within which you see roundels, and roundels containing a flower.
Right.
The flower can either be a peony or the flower can be a lotus.
Right. Just small details, you have to come here and enjoy them yourself.
And take a look.
I mean, we look at it in this episode, I don't think we'll be able to do full justice to this entire thing. That piece of art, right? You have to come here and feel it. So I don't think we'll be taking this back to the warehouse anytime soon.
But can I say, again, in a museum, not only you would not be able to touch it, but here you have the possibility with a little bit of attention. You have to be attentive.
Right.
This have, as we said, end of the 18th century, you are able to even touch, and as you did earlier, you actually touch the skin, and the three-dimensional skin.
Come and feel the skin of the dragon, yeah.
And that three-dimensional element is basically achieved through a technique.
Right.
And it's a sort of a gray material, powdery material that is used by the Tibetan. And then, again, glue is added and other minerals. And it once becomes a paste, it's applied onto the wood, and then with a lot of attention, it's almost created an embossing effect. Very, very interesting.
It's too, no words, no, you're giving a great description, but I tell you, you have to go to feel it yourself. I mean, the camera is doing a great job to capture. You can see the shadows and the difference in the lighting. You see, even the dragon head, the details, it's so distinct. It's really something. I see friends are watching now, like Jillian, Jim, Jenny, Marilyn, Amanda, Yvonne, and so on. This I really encourage you because you guys frequent the gallery. Come by. I mean, you do all your lighting of incense, all this stuff. Come by and then first take a photo with this sofa. Second, buy yourself a piece of painting. Third, come around, actually feel all these details. You see, now as when you zoom in, it looks even more stunning. Look at the eyes. It's red. It's stunning. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it even looks like, or the jewelry that I do actually looks a bit like the how they bring it, because you see, if you look at it, the eyes of the dragon is actually with sapphire.
Wow.
It's not just gold. It is with it is with a gemstone.
Yes.
Just
yes,
like
yes.
what they did. Just like what they did to
so
the
minute and detailed.
yeah. You see, if you had it is with a gemstone. Mine is blue sapphire.
Amazing.
What they did to the entire chest was that the eyes area was red. So that deserves the accentuation. And that is something that is, yeah.
And interesting enough, it's something that I've been reading about, is look at the horns of the dragons.
Right.
Okay, those are their horns. Okay, and they also have the ears, and the ears are cow ears.
Yeah.
The cow ears do not allow the dragon to hear, so the hearing goes through the horns.
Really?
This is a
know
detail
about that,
I
yeah.
was not aware of.
I did not
Now,
know about that. Yeah.
Let's talk about the four squares.
Okay.
Sorry, four corners. Let
Four
me
corners,
be
okay.
more specific. Four corners, and we have arabesque design in the four corners.
Right.
Looking very carefully, we are in the position to detect some remnants of gilding. Not easy to find, but remnants of the
I see.
gilding.
You're talking about, are you referring to this part here?
There is.
This part? Are you?
Yes, I am referring to that part.
So this has remnants of gilding.
It has remnants of gilding.
Right.
I mentioned earlier about the color of the two dragons, which is a sort of a gray, silverish.
Yes.
And then you also look at the flames of the pearl, also gray, silverish.
So were they gilded in the past?
They were not gilded. I think there was used somewhat some silver leaves.
Okay.
Okay, and because I mentioned that the sort of stucco or the gesso was gray, so the gesso gray and the silver have merged, and that's the reason we have that particular tone of the color. So the flame is very important because it's actually protecting the flame, the pearl, and what it represents for the Tibetan, which I mentioned earlier.
Right.
So this is the depiction, but we've not finished. I'm sorry. I keep on going. Look at the ironwork.
Yes.
This is all hand ironwork, forged beautifully. These are hinges, and the hinges have two specific reasons, not only for practical reason in order to keep the piece together, but it also have a very beautiful decorative, and the hinges have an arrow shape.
Right. So
Arrow shape, sorry.
arrow shape.
Arrow shape.
Okay.
To finish, on the side, which unfortunately you will not be able to see unless you come over, there's a big circle. And within the circle, I hope my explanation can at least provide a little bit of better understanding. In the circle,
If I have great faith in the crew, probably they'll be able to show them.
I really hope so. Although,
It's by the side. Because, okay, you must understand that because all my friends here, Jenny Tan is here, your fan is here. He's going to take a photo of you later. Now, you must understand that this chest is so wide that we talked about, remember we talked about a tiger chest.
I did.
Right? It was this big, okay?
Yes.
This chest is so wide that all my 3 cameras are not be able to capture it. So they are moving, and they're moving in, and then they will be able to see it. So even on the side of this chest, there is something magical going on. So pay attention to what's going on. Please continue to describe about the side.
You have used the right word. Something magical.
It's magical,
I
yeah.
have never seen a design so beautiful. This, as you can see
There
here,
you can see,
fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you very much to the team. They're doing a great job, and they've allowed to see something I thought I would only have been able to describe. Instead, you are there to look at it.
Now,
it's a circle.
You see a circle.
Yes.
I must declare first, in case you get the wrong idea, this is not a Tai Chi symbol, okay? Not exactly the same.
No.
Connections, probably yes, but I'll leave it to Mr. Pino to explain, yeah.
Okay. when you look at the circle, it's actually made up of 4 segments. And it's a curling segment, continuous curling elements. And if you look, there are 4 particular colors. And that is the red, the yellow, the green, and the blue.
Okay,
Now,
okay. This is
exclusive. Is just a palette, or is there a meaning to it? There's a meaning to it. Let me be very clear. And the meaning is that for each of the colors, these reflect the elements, and therefore the fire, the earth, and the air, and the water.
Right.
These are basically the 4 elements.
Coming together in a circle of life.
And around the circle, there's also a detail of a flame.
Yeah,
so
now that I see it. I see it right on top of it, yeah.
Is that all? No, there's a little bit more. This is with reference to the 4 noble laws of Buddha. And what does that mean? It just means about the essence of suffering and how to solve it.
Right.
So very deep significance.
So the four spectrums, the 4 colors, they are talking about the 4 fundamental elements which composites the foundation of the universe in Tibetan belief. It also represents the 4 noble truths of Buddhism. Whether it's in physical or whether it's in metaphysical wise, this is encompassing. And it's not just on one side. We are seeing on one side now, it's actually on 2 sides. So in the front, you have the dragon. On the 2 sides, flanking this majestic chest are, universal symbols that represent the universe. So we can pretty much guess with such a powerful creature, dragon in the front, with the pearl and the deer that represents high Buddhism, and the universal symbol of Buddhism right by the flank by its side, what that might be contained inside should be super, that goes without saying, it should be super precious. Super precious, holy, yeah. Super precious. I think so, yeah,
manuscript
probably.
Covers.
Manuscript covers, covering manuscripts, yeah.
Covering the manuscript.
They have to be covering manuscripts,
Wonderful Tibetan Chinese silks, which were so precious, and actually they were gifts to the temple, or to be a little bit more precise, to the monastery.
I see.
So we can go on, but we need to stop here, not to bother you too much with this all detailed descriptions.
I am enthusiastic to show you what I have put inside the shelf, the chest.
Oh, you put something?
I have placed something inside. It's not the Pali cannon because I'm not going to touch it. It's the Pali cannons are resting nicely, guarding your Heart Sutra seals emblem. But I have taken a liberty to put something in the chest. It's a precious chest after all, and we are in the Tibetan world today. It's going to be a Tibetan chest. Right. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm getting particularly curious.
So in this case, you will also see how you open this chest, which is, I tell you, it's quite a chore, but you can imagine the weight and the heaviness of the whole thing and how important the contents are. So I'm going to try to open the chest and take out what is the content. So now I have to remove all the champagne and everything else. Yeah. So it goes like this. We have to, all right. So this is the lock that the mechanism, beautifully done. A lot of decorative, This part is entirely redundant, so it's entirely decorative. Okay. Now, beautiful. We can have the one resting on the sofa a little bit first. Yep. All right. And in it, I placed a chest within a chest, another chest. Let me do it. Yeah.
Let me actually close this.
It's quite heavy. You must be careful, huh?
I will take care.
Okay. Can you imagine if they did this every single day? They'll be extremely strong, yeah. So I put the chest inside the chest. Now this chest, maybe it seems familiar, but it's not the same chest.
Actually, it's very interesting. We have presented
something similar.
Very similar chest. And this happens to be the twin. The twin.
We talked about the first chest in the crossing of the Chinese New Year.
Yes.
Right, because we were going to step in the year of the tiger anyway. And that's the chest that we talked about. The trouble, Mr. Pino, to bring it over.
I think they both deserve to be together.
And be shown again,
and to be admired.
Okay, so this on this that Mr. Pino just brought in, the one that I'm holding on now, this is the chest that you saw before and during Chinese New Year. This one, you have never seen it before. I'm bringing, they are a pair. They are a pair. And I think Mr. Pino has explained before that certain antiques, they might have existed in the pair, but it's very difficult to have the pair survive together.
Very, very,
Remember
very difficult.
the square drawers that we talked about?
Yes.
The Qing Dynasty ones?
Yes.
Maybe they were a pair. Because the room, you should have, the obsession for balance, but there's only one now.
Yes.
Unfortunately. But now this chest, we have a pair. And this is the one that we talked about.
Now, look at the depiction of the tigers in totally different direction. In different they look in different direction. What is special, look at the faces.
Right.
Okay, look at the whiskers. Look at the mouth. Look at the sinuous body. At the same time, look at the curling tail. Again, look at the strength that you see in the legs and the claws. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful depiction. If you actually see a little bit more carefully, they seem that they have fear. It's not right. They're just concerned about predators and hunters, and they're there ready for action in case there is a threat. And so they will either run away or they will decide to take any other possible action. So this depiction is absolutely fantastic. What does the tiger represent? For the Tibetan, the tiger is one of the most important real animal that exists in the wild. And when we look at the tiger, this is impressive because it represents power, and we know about the power. It represents stress, but it also represents authority. And I'm interested, I possibly might have already shared with you why the authority. Because the monks used to meditate on tiger pelts, but they were rare and they were difficult to find, and therefore their representation, their design started on carpets, on textiles, and when they were traveling, in the past they used to use the pelts, the real pelts of the tiger, but then they started to use carpets or textile. And therefore the authority of the High Lamas, by analogy, was transferred to the symbol, and that's the reason why there is authority recognized in the tiger and in its representation.
I like how that it looks same, the chest, but they're actually just similar but different, because you mentioned that the configuration or the direction of the tiger is actually flipped. It's very much like our ancient Chinese way when you have two lions or two tigers. They look similar, but they're flipped.
Yes.
I was just addressing a case today that a person has a signboard, and the signboard holder are made up of lions.
Yes.
They are actually flipped. They look similar, but they are flipped.
Yes.
So this is definitely a pair, and I can't decipher which is male or female, but I don't think it matters. It's that we have a pair with us, and it's amazing. And a side topic that I find it amazing is that, do you know Louis Vuitton, this brand? Of course, yeah.
Well, yes.
They're famous other than for their bags or their monograms. It's like they actually started out as a trunk company.
Yes, absolutely right.
Right? And actually now, a lot of their trunks are still selling at crazy prices.
Crazy prices.
Some of the trunks can be like 200K, 300K easily, Yeah, and I was just placing my champagne glass on this Tibetan chest, the big one, with this smaller one on top. Actually, if I look at the image, it looks stunning. It looks amazing. Look at this. this is an absolute good height for, this is absolute good height for a cocktail table. Classy, historical significant, and all the prosperity and all the spiritual symbolism are here. Am I right? Yeah, look at this.
Sometimes,
Look at this, yeah.
sometimes, Mr. Khan, you will forgive me.
Yeah.
I sort of caress these pieces. I mean, there's so much energy. I won't say that I feel it, but it's just fantastic.
It's
They're
fine.
so smooth.
You caress this piece. I would like to use them as, I've always loved to incorporate them into the gallery. Like how this we are using the Louis Philippe chair, the sofa, the Qing Dynasty, the official chairs. And once again, I repeat, this Louis Philippe sofa, we're going to do something amazing. Hopefully by the end of the month, which will benefit you definitely. You have to stay tuned to our program. We'll announce it first over here in this Museum in Lotus series. It's stunning. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great fun.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right, so this is the one we talked about, and this is the chest that I just brought out from the bigger Tibetan chest. This
Yes.
feels like a Russian thing, chest within chest. And actually inside this smaller Tibetan chest, I also placed something inside. Not this, this one. Yeah, but this
Okay.
feels like a gambling thing. You're trying to guess which one has the thing, right? No, that doesn't has it. This one has it's not a chest, okay? So it's not a chest within a chest within a chest. Okay, I have the big chest, I took out a small chest, and inside this chest, I placed something that is also Tibetan as well.
Yes, yes,
Which you
yes.
would need your fine expertise to explain to us what is going on with them.
Wow,
Let's
wow.
take a look.
Wow, wow, wow.
Can, you just hold halfway. It's fine, yeah. Okay, let me just take out one of them.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
I have a pair. I have a pair as well, actually.
You have a pair.
I didn't notice. It's a pair as well.
But that's the reason why you place them.
I didn't know, yeah.
A pair in a pair.
Yeah, oh, I should have placed one there. Yeah, I should have placed one there. Good point, yeah. So I have a pair here, all right? I'm not sure whether they're entirely similar, but structurally wise, they seem like that. Something special today. I think this is one item that we might not have talked about before.
We have not, well, I think we have made a sort of an indication, but we've never gone into detail. We've never represented, we've never said exactly what it means and the purpose. Now, this is a wonderful pair. I think for what I've examined, this is a true pair. Interestingly enough, this is Tibetan. I would say that this would be 20th century, just to be cautious in the approach and in the date. Now, what is it made of? This is made out of copper.
Copper.
And the technique which have been utilized is not only one, which is the repoussé or the relief. The relief, imagine, means the embossing from the sheet of copper outside of the design. But then within the design, there's another technique which has been used, and this is what you see here, it's all the definition, which is the technique of chasing.
Right, so they have that loose thing, so you have the mold going on.
Yes.
And when that happens, you chisel the entire bronze to give these elaborate details. Am I right? Yeah.
Elaborate details. Now,
Right.
actually, I can see that this has been all hand hammered because when I get closer,
You get this.
then I can see all these little details.
You get this effects over here, this unevenness.
But it's what makes it really, really special. Okay, what is this and why? Interestingly, this is a design that originated in India.
I mean, this creature, this
This
mystical
creature-
being.
This creature was designed
Yeah.
and was taught in India.
Okay, I was looking at the camera, and because I'm still listening to your elaboration, I was looking at this cloth here, and I was thinking that it looks a bit like our Chinese lion does. I mean, it looks a bit like, I mean, you look at the camera, it looks exactly like that, yeah.
Can I say,
It looks like a lion dance thing, yeah.
Mr. Khan, very good analogy.
Really?
I
Yeah.
think this called the ziba.
The ziba.
This is a ziba. Now, the design of a ziba in Asian arts goes back to 1,500 years.
All right.
1,000, and as I said, it was conceived as a design by a deity that was Shiva, and Shiva is known as the protector and the destroyer.
Right.
And he actually thought, because Shiva is a male figure, he actually thought this to be a protector itself.
Okay.
So he is a protector. He made this figure as a protector, but this is some demon. Why would he have wanted this to be a demon? It's to scare off the negative forces, the evils. That's the reason this was designed in such, sorry to say, not a beautiful way. What does this represent? If you look, it has a lot of elements which have been imported, if you wish, from a dragon. So you see the horns.
You see horns, yeah.
You
We do see the horns.
The ears, as I mentioned before. And then you see this enormous mouth. You see the nose, and you see the tongue coming out. These are the teeth of a tiger. But interestingly, it's different because it doesn't have claws, but it has
hands.
It has hands.
Yeah, it has hands. Do you see that? It has hands. Look at this. This lion, this zebra has hands. Yeah.
It has hands. And when you look at the hands, the way they have been, this is dismembered hands. But again, it's frightening. But it's a pair. And what is very interesting is this design. Can you see on top?
Yeah, I
this
see
design?
that this thing on top of the head, this thing here, which leads me to think about many things. I'm thinking about many different things about this.
Okay,
Yeah.
in cultures, very different cultures, they have very different meanings. The sun and the moon.
This is the sun and the moon, right?
This is the sun
This is the
and the
sun,
moon.
and this is the moon.
Yes. And in spite of the fact that have different meanings with different cultures, they all come to one conclusion, which is common to all of these cultures, and that is the polarity.
Right.
So moon, sun, polarity. What does that mean? If you think the sun, you have it during the day, and you have the moon during the night.
Okay.
Now, what does the sun represent and what does the moon represent? Again, the sun would actually represent it would represent power.
Okay.
It would represent strength, and it would represent firmness.
Right.
So almost characteristic of a male figure.
Yes.
So when you look instead at the moon, it actually has different characteristics. And let me just announce a few. It's about beauty.
Okay.
It's about calmness. And it's about encouragement.
Right.
The story says, it's just a story, I repeat it, and please don't laugh at me, that they were in love, the sun and the moon. They all basically are a source of light. And they were together. However, in one morning, the moon saw a morning light, and she fell in love with the morning light. And that was the end of the love between the moon and the sun. And they're one chasing the other. And if you think, every day there's the night, and therefore the moon, and it's chasing the sun, but by the time the sun is out, the moon is not there anymore.
Right, right. I mean, the sun and the moon, it's a yin and yang thing for the Chinese, right? So, I mean, this definitely connects. And of course, I mean, coincidentally or perhaps not, that behind us, the calligraphy you keep mentioning, it's the shining as bright as the sun and the moon. This reads the sun. This is the sun. This word is the sun. Sun, it literally reads like this. Sun, moon, similar brightness. I mean, in proper grammatical sense, it's shining as bright as the sun and the moon. Of course, in masculine, there's a yin and yang to it, yes. Just like our ring is heaven and earth. Once again, it's a heaven and earth in Chinese is qian and kun. That means it's top and bottom. There's a whole yin and yang thing to it as well. So we are seeing a lot of pairs. We are seeing a lot of yin and yang. We are seeing a lot of coming together, polarities, balance, and so on. Sun for masculine is the one that tells us the timing, because it also means how many days and so on. Moon is the one that actually, probably what we're talking about is the motherly love, but it is the moon that actually gives Chinese food, because sun gives agricultural energy, but it's the moon or the lunar calendar that the farmers follow, that they will decide when to plant, when to harvest, and so on. So both the sun and moon are actually nurturing the agricultural population of China back then. Right. And therefore, a world and a universe and a culture is born. It is without a doubt that the sun and moon coming together are important for philosophies, are important for cultures, be it the Tibetan one or the Chinese one. Probably somehow they have meshed, probably somehow they've influenced each other, but we know today you can still find the sun and moon, not only in this piece. I think I'm going to find a place to hang this too, in the gallery, to ward off evil more. And you can also find it in masculine's fengshui calligraphy, the sun and moon shining together.
Nima, Dawa. These are the name. Nima is the sun for the Tibetan, and Dawa means the moon. What was the use? You've already partly anticipated, and therefore I would reiterate your concept, is hang on hallways, on arches, on deities. Right. Again, is to protect them. So these are protectors, in spite of not being beautiful, but I mean, it has this wonderful significance. And then when you look at it, you have this different pigmentation, the red pigmentation, the green pigmentation, and you talked about these textiles.
Yeah, this textile, I mean, it's an extension, it seems.
It seems like an extension, but when I actually look at this textile, I don't think this is Tibetan. I think this is Chinese.
Right.
And the reason why I think it's Chinese, because of the symbolism. Here we have the bamboo, and we know how important the bamboo is. We also have the team and the symbol. Right. And we also have branches with flowers, and this could be cherry flowers or can be plum flowers. Could be. I would not be able to say. Amazing, very beautiful pieces. Again, 20th century, I would say, maybe the first part of the 20th century. And imagine, this come most possibly by a very important monastery or an extremely wealthy family at the entrance, or any other, and they would have a deity, and they would actually have two deities. However, let me tell you, they're not very special in one sense, which I've already illustrated. They are special, 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 special. And the reason why they're very special, because there's a third piece, there's a third ziba. Now look at the dimension of the third ziba.
Oh, it's a much bigger one.
It's a much, much bigger one. Now when you look at the ziba, okay, the textile is, again, in my opinion, Chinese, but it's different from the previous one. You still see the possibility of hanging this piece. So a pair to me, is good, exceptional, but 3 pieces is beyond luck. It's just.
So I have to hang this 3-piece together somewhere.
I think you should hang. I will not go into any explanation. I think I've already mentioned enough about it.
But this piece is much, much bigger, definitely. I can see it. I mean, it's obvious, you see? It's very obvious. It's at least 3 times bigger than the piece that we have.
Yes. And again, this is only my assumption. It must come from the same workshop. There are too many characteristics, although this larger piece is not similar to the pair. This for me is definitely a pair. This is slightly different, but when we look exactly at the details, they're very, very similar to the pair that we have. And here I happen to see a seal, and this is the seal of authorization from the Nepalese government. And if they were more than 100 years, they would not be able to exit the country. It's because, in my opinion, it's less than 100 years. And as I mentioned, this also helps me in dating a little bit more precisely this piece. But fantastic work, extremely beautiful. And
we hope to see these 3 pieces in the galleries together with this Tibetan chest. Yes. Because I think they can be used still. You know, I think the value of antiques very much come along, not just their historical and their cultural knowledge, but also how much they can still be used today. Right? If they can be used today, there's a great value to it. So if you come by the gallery, please take care of them. Please be gentle with them. Please don't take this sofa as your home sofa. Sit gently and with proper attire, right? Am I right? Yeah. We see a lot of connections today. Again,
a lot
pairs.
Of connection.
I've mentioned about it, pairs, sun and moon, okay, day and night. Master Yun's painting, and this ziba, and the double dragon, the 2 dragons on my finger, facing a pearl, and so on. So there's this really too much coincidence, but what we can say that is that sometimes, you know, there are just a lot of, I hardly say this, but I said it before, universal truths or common beauties or common ideals that people, when they reach a certain level, that they can feel it and they can sense it and they will represent it with something, a painting, a chest, a carving. It depends. But they all point to the same direction. It's just like many different religions or different faiths, ancient faiths, they seem to be talking about different things, but actually they're talking about the same thing, just in a different way of presenting itself.
I don't know if it's coincidental, but there are too many things together tonight which all point at each other, and they're all in perfect connection.
Right.
It's really incredible.
So I think the question for tonight, it's a bit more, maybe a bit more challenging, but the hints are all over the place. We look at the ziba. There is something about this ziba sculpture, this carving, that is similar directly with Master Yun's calligraphy that is here. And it has got to do with the symbol that is right over here. It constitutes of 2 different things. This thing here, okay? So this is the question for tonight. This thing, this symbol here, it constitutes of 2 different things that has got to do with Master Yun's calligraphy. In fact, not just this piece, it's a whole series. Master Yun has painted 3 renditions of this kind of series. It's a something and something series. So what are these 2 symbols that we are talking about that shows so much connection between the Tibetan ancient culture and Master Yun's feng shui calligraphy? What are these 2 symbols that we are talking about? This is the question for tonight.
This is hard.
This is the question for tonight. What are these 2 symbols over here? These 2 symbols that shed here, right here, and on Master Yun's calligraphy. Okay, these 2 things that you see every single day, every single night. Okay, it represents a great deal of philosophical impact across all different cultures. So it's a simple question. Actually, it's a simple question still. What do you see here? This thing and this thing, which connects with Master Yun's feng shui calligraphy. Okay, just put your answer into the comment, and You know, we have been talking about this series of Master Yun's paintings, calligraphy before. Some of them are shining as bright, some of them are doubling the light, and the last series his painting is just called Heaven and Earth, something and something. The whole series is there. These two words are exactly what these two symbols are about. I did not plan for this, I did not see this, but you mentioned, then I see the connection.
Can I just add, I'm sorry, a little bit more?
Yeah.
Look at the color of the forehead.
Right.
And look at the color in Master Yun painting.
Right.
Gilding on both of them.
Gilding, yes. The fascination in gold is definitely a consistent topic, you know.
So one more element
Yes.
of connection that
100%.
we guessed on.
Yes. So a lot of people are keying the answer. It's this thing that some of y'all actually already own this of Master Yun's art, this series. And so tonight when you're looking at this piece of art, and you will realize that, yes, with all this explanation that will tell you what does the sun stand for, what does the L thing stand for, you would realize that it's something that has actually crossed a lot of different cultures, including like 18th, 19th century Tibet as well. So it's really something, right? A lot of people are giving us the correct answer. It's sun and moon, sun and moon, sun and moon, sun and moon.
Wow, very
right?
good.
I hope that from tomorrow onwards, when you look at the sun and when you look at the moon, you have a different feel. It's not just two heavenly bodies that's giving you sunlight and telling you that it's nighttime, but it's telling you about more things. And different cultures have actually used it to represent their ideas. Or probably they're speaking to artists of different eras and giving them inspiration. All the same.
Yes.
Right.
Sources of light.
Come by the gallery to actually feel this Tibetan chest yourself. And hopefully we'll find a place to actually start to install this Ziva copper protectors for us to admire and to see in the gallery. Cheers.
Fantastic.
See you next week. And remember to tell your friends, get something out of this episode.